Chumbawam?
Chumbawam?
Like, come on.
What is that from?
I don't like how that was like a call and response thing. That was like kind of call and response, and I did not care for that.
What?
Sometimes you have to be a ninja. And you have to do your Naruto Nindo.
I really don't like that. Okay, are we ready to get started?
Really? Because I'm loving every second of it.
I don't believe that.
I'll say you're an enabler.
Are we good to get started? Are we ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I started recording a little while ago. We got a solid minute and a half on the clock already.
Piggy dipping.
Yeah, yeah, we got all of the. What is it? Is it figgy dipping? What is it?
Piggy.
Piggy.
Piggy dipping. Piggy dipping at the piggy pond. Piggy dipped your fast sausages in the water bowl. Didn't you, Chumbawam?
I don't need to know what that is. I'm not gonna look it up. So hello. This is the first session of.
Nice. Sideways?
Are you sideways? Yes, you're sideways.
That's my phone, that's why. Hold on. Did I do a dumb here?
I think you might.
Yes.
Have.
Does it not just auto... There we go. There we go. I have to let it auto-rotate.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah, sure.
So hey everybody. This is
On?
hopefully the first session of a, well, it is the first session. Hopefully it's one of many in a campaign of Hack the Planet, which is a Blades in the Dark inspired cyberpunk, climate punk, tabletop role-playing game that we're going to be playing. Let's go ahead. This is probably, I don't know when this is going to go up on the channel, probably next week. So that'll be almost like over a year and a half, I think, since the last time that anything got uploaded to that channel. So that'll be fun. Let's go around and have everybody introduce themselves before we get started. Bree, we'll start with you. You're in my top left corner there, and then we'll just go around clockwise.
Like me? Or me and my character?
Specifically?
Is me specifically? You can just introduce yourself. We'll introduce everybody's characters once they become relevant to the situation.
Okay. I don't know what information you're seeking specifically, but my name is Bree.
Why don't we do this like, you know, middle school style, and you can say your name and a cool fact about yourself.
Okay. My name is Bree, and a cool fact about me is that I am not nearly as funny as I think I am.
Cool fact.
That's a fact. I don't know if it's a cool fact.
It's a fact.
Oh boy, is it.
Christian?
Hi, my name is Christian.
Hi, Christian.
My cool fact is it's spelled in a way that you wouldn't expect.
How is that spelled?
I-E-N instead of I-A-N. It's annoying. Everyone, especially doing legal paperwork recently, I always have to make sure that people get my email and name right. It's fun.
That's fun. Jose?
I'm Jose, and my cool fact is I am very, very easily amused.
Okay. That's a cool fact. Well, that's a cool fact.
If that's cool, then mine
True.
should be
It's
cool.
true.
Yeah.
I find great joy in little things.
Useful.
David?
I'm David, and my cool fact is I'm related to Tex-Mex pop star Selena Quintanilla. Rest in peace.
Ooh, yes, you are.
I think about that not irregularly, David.
I think about that not irregularly too.
I don't think about that because I didn't know that.
My good friend related to Miss Selena Gomez. Or Miss Gomez.
Oh, no.
Selena Quintanilla, dude. Don't you know?
Yeah,
Put some respect on that name.
some real
All
respect.
the respect in the world.
Real.
My girlfriend was like we were up in St. Louis, and she was like the hotel person that we were at. She was like, Quintanilla, cool. And my girlfriend was like, yeah, like Selena. And I'm like, this lady lives in St. Louis. She doesn't know who Selena is. It's like a Mexico and Texas thing.
Did she know who Selena is? Or was?
She did not.
No,
No, she did not.
Well,
Sweet lady, but
Well,
She was
rest
a
in peace.
global
This
superstar.
first session can be done. This is dedicated to Selena Quintanilla. Rest in peace.
right to Selena.
Okay, then that just leaves me. Hi, I'm Teddy. I'll be GMing this game. And a cool fact about me is I've got 3 computer monitors, and on one of them, I'm drawing something right now. Can anybody guess what I'm drawing?
A pyramid.
A frog.
No.
Mm,
A cat.
No.
I was gonna say a duck.
Wrong.
A map of the session because you forgot to prep.
Wrong. Although I didn't forget to prep, but I did forget to prep a new version of the map. But nobody's gonna get to see that, so it's fine. You know, it's all night. No, it's not a house. Everybody's guessed. You all failed. I'm not gonna say what it is.
What are you drawing? A picture.
So,
Cheap
now that
tactic to keep
everybody,
us in suspense.
now that everybody's introduced themselves, you know, like I said before, we're playing Hack the Planet. It's a tabletop role-playing game. Written by, who wrote Hack the Planet? Fraser Simon, writer of Hack the Planet. It's a Forged in the Dark cyberpunk game. Borrows heavy themes from climate fiction, which we'll see. We're kind of adapting the setting slightly. You know, the rules leave a lot open to interpretation, so we've kind of taken the liberty to sort of come up with our own setting, which will reveal kind of over time as we play. I don't think we need to, you know, have a moment here where we go over, you know, every nuance and intricacy of the setting that we've discussed beforehand. You know, that will all sort of come into play as it comes into the focus of the camera. So yeah, I think that just about covers everything that I kind of needed to set up. We've all introduced ourselves. Are we ready to get started? Does anybody need to cover anything else? Anybody want to go over anything? All right, we're good to go.
Yes.
All right.
Oh.
So we open up on various establishing shots of the city. Probably set to like some very kind of like 90s kind of like jazz hip hop beats. You know, this montage we see you know, mostly just people living their lives within the city. You know, we see the slums in the city, people going about their business for the day, you know, setting up their businesses, unloading trucks, washing clothes, children running around. You know, we then cut to the interior of, you know, all we see is glass everywhere in storefronts, and we see that we're inside of a shopping mall. Light is sort of being filtered through these glass windows. You know, there's people inside shopping at various, you know, very luxury-looking stores. We get some exterior shots of the old part of the city. You know, we see colonial-style buildings. You know, from like the 1700s and whatnot, cobblestone streets, but this is all sort of like juxtaposed with, you know, that kind of like classic cyberpunk, you know, like big animated billboards and neon signs and people, you know, in very futuristic clothing and cyberware and whatnot. You know, we see, we cut from there to sort of the city's waterfront along the northern edge of the island. We see very green water lapping up against the sand. You know, we can see along the waterfront, you know, these sort of giant casinos with like dizzying neon lights, holograms projecting, you know, all sorts of various different things. You know, there's like a giant hologram of like an elephant, sort of like raising its trunk and like drawing water out of the ocean and then spewing it out into the air. We cut from there and we see, you know, just like a maze of like giant corporate towers near the center of the city. You know, we can't see the sky, we can't see the ground. All we see are like glass panes and concrete and neon, and the sun sort of like reflecting off of the windows. And then from there, we cut back to the ocean. We see green water all around, but directly, in the center of the camera, these are all sort of like static shots. We see various large sort of like moorings and piers. We can't really see, it sort of looks like we're kind of out in the middle of the ocean. We can't really see the shore from anywhere around. Maybe we see like some seagulls flying overhead, but moored to all of these piers are various like houseboats, flotillas, ships of various sizes, and we sort of hold on that shot for a while before we cut to the like sort of an exterior shot of a large sort of airship, aircraft looking vehicle. Can somebody describe what the exterior of the long weekend looks like?
Oh yes, I can do this. Hold on. I remember sending an actual image of it, but essentially, what was it called? We decided to model it after a real life prototype. It was like a Soviet prototype of like a huge,
It was
essentially
practically like a
plane.
bus with like
Yeah,
like it was like long rectangular, but was a plane as well.
yeah, and it still had like a nose cone, and it had multiple like thrusters on its like.
Yeah, chronoplan.
There you go,
Right?
the chronoplan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So if you want to Google what that looks like, the chronoplan, the Soviets tried designing a plane that could take off from the water.
But it's not just a plane. It's like a giant airship looking.
No, it's
vehicle, right?
it's
It looks
huge.
like it looks like
almost like an AC-130 size.
Yeah.
Truly.
So we see this giant kind of hulking mass of metal.
Oh, it's all black on the outside, too.
It's all black on the outside. Okay, it's sort of like reflecting the sun. What is the insignia of the because I imagine we see this exterior shot of the airship, and on it we see its name written. What does that look like? Does it just like say the long weekend in like fancy script, or like what does that design look like?
What happened was, on the side of the long weekend beforehand was a like a logo of a corporation, but it has since been painted over with black paint, and then written over with like a nice fancy cursive the long weekend.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So we cut to the interior of the ship. We're sort of cutting into the main living quarters. It is around, I imagine, we see the exterior of the ship. We can hear like the sounds of the waves lapping up against the hull. We hear the sound of gulls flying overhead. And then we cut to like an insert like text on black screen shot. And it just says Wednesday, 11:45 a.m. And we cut to the interior main living quarters of the ship. Who's there? Who's hanging out on the ship right now? It's 11:45. It's a Wednesday morning, almost seeping into the afternoon. It's been a very uneventful Wednesday morning. Who's there? What's going on?
I'm there.
Okay. Who are you, and what do we see you doing?
Well, I guess I'm just gonna say my alias for now.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm Fang.
Mhm.
I am, you know what? Probably I just got out of bed.
Okay.
So I'm just like half awake. Do we have coffee on this goddamn ship?
Of course you do. Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, I'm getting coffee. That's like mission number 1. I don't even care if anyone is here. I don't want to talk to anybody. I need caffeine.
Is anybody else on the ship?
There is
Specifically in the, I imagine then the living quarters are sort of like a modestly sized sort of, I kind of imagine since we're sort of going with that Soviet theme for the design of the ship, I don't know why that makes me think of like the 60s and 70s, but like y'all know those like 1970s living rooms with like the inset like couches, like what?
Conversation pit.
Conversation pit, yeah. I imagine that the inside of the ship definitely has one of those. It kind of looks like it looks like the inside of the Millennium Falcon. Kind of. There's a conversation pit in the middle of the room with like a couch and like a table, like in the center of the pit, and that's sort of like adjoined to like a small, like kitchenette, like a galley for the ship.
Yeah.
So Fang, we get to the interior of the ship after that insert letting us know the date and the time. We see you. What does Fang look like?
Not that physically intimidating off the bat. Medium height, medium build, but definitely has sort of a, when you look at like a poisonous insect
Yeah.
and you just know immediately that you probably shouldn't talk to them. You shouldn't be talking to insects, but you know what I mean? Like just kind of intimidating on the inside.
Right. Yeah.
Like you wouldn't talk to a wasp.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got kind of a poisonous, sour look. Also, you woke up at like, close to noon on a Wednesday. We probably, we sort of see you go and get some coffee from a very dingy, even though it's slightly futuristic, we can still tell that this is a very shitty futuristic coffee maker. It's very, like, the pot is very stained. It looks like nobody's cleaned it out in a while. The inside of the kitchenette, I imagine, looks very grungy. Is anybody else there in the living quarters? We go and we see you get your coffee. Who else is there, if anybody else?
Yeah, no, I would imagine that I'd be like if Fan were just to turn around, I'd be sitting there with my cup, just good morning.
And who are you and what do you look like?
That's right. So my character's alias is Polygraph, Poly for short, and physically she is slight in build, a little bit on the shorter side, but she's a very pretty Hispanic woman, very soft features, very, very well dressed, but her eyes have a like amber glow behind the pupils.
Okay, yeah, we sort of like swing the camera around, and we see Polly sat there in the what did we call that?
Conversation pit?
Conversation pit.
It's just the pit.
Yeah. We sort of see you down in the pit, already sat there with your cup of coffee. What do you do? What happens? Do we want to frame a little bit of a scene here?
Polly's just, sitting there in like the nicest robe that she has. It's a lazy Wednesday morning, and she's just, with her cup of coffee. Is there something like some news feed that she can be going through, or is it like paper newspaper?
No, of course not. If you've got like a like a data pad,
yeah, no,
like
definitely.
That, yeah, of course.
Yeah, she's going over just the latest gossip, and with another filter going over like the latest corporate news.
Okay. Do you two have anything to say to each other, or is just a sort of like, it's a very, this is a typical occurrence, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see Fang is I'm gonna wait for Fang to have her coffee first before I continue and, elaborate with my good mornings. But I'm just quietly sitting there, morning, sit, scroll.
Yeah. So we sort of linger on this scene for a bit of the two of you just sort of silently, drinking your coffee, sitting in the leisure pit. We're sort of holding on a wide shot, very quiet. The only things that we can hear are the sort of muted lappings of the waves on the hull of the ship outside. Occasionally someone takes a sip of their coffee, and we hear that when all of the sudden there's sort of like a like a communications device within the leisure pit. I imagine that in the center of the pit, on the table, there's probably like a cutout in the middle of the table with like a screen and like a console on it. When all of a sudden the screen comes alive, and we hear the ringtone of an incoming call. What is the ringtone? I was thinking about this morning. What does the ringtone sound like? Is there like a cool ringtone when the thing goes off? Or okay,
I know exactly what it is.
yeah.
Do we have the copyright for that?
The most tweak it slightly.
Okay.
So we hear that go off. The screen is sort of flashing, and it keeps going over and over. What do you do?
Your turn.
I'd walk in this room and just gonna be like in the background at this point.
Yeah, we're still cutting it wide. We see you come in from off stage, as the sound is coming off. Who are you and what do you look like?
I'm just ignoring the call. I'll let y'all are already in the pit. So like, you see this just extremely large figure, just like very wide. And I realized I was trying to think of what they wear and what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been watching too much of that like Midnight Mass and The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got freaking Raul Coley just in my head at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That man.
Hideo Kojima's best friend.
Is he?
They have like a weird bromance on Twitter. It's been very
it's
been very entertaining.
He's the guy that jumps in with like Funhouse and Rooster Teeth, right?
Maybe.
I think so. He's a friend of theirs. He does he streams with them. They do like Star Wars, where they do drunk Star Wars, where they read.
All I know is that man is just perfection. Just as
Rahul, cool dude. Yes, agreed. I haven't seen those shows yet.
And he just has a very broad figure, and he's wearing. We all know the advertisement whenever they announced Halo Infinite, where there was that mysterious man dressed in the gray cloak, just hulking and large, not knowing who it was.
Do you mean Halo? Do you mean Halo 5?
Is that Halo 5?
That was Halo 5. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so long ago. Okay, so Halo 5. Apologies.
Yeah, come on.
Just literally look up that. It's just a large gray, unshapely robe, just like multiple layers, and just always walking around in that.
Okay, cool. We see you enter the scene from sort of off stage as we hold on this wide as the phone is going off. What do you do? Do you just sort of like go to the kitchen?
I'm going to the fridge, and I'm you see me open the fridge and like just start like put my arm straight back and just shove things to the side as people keep putting their food in front of the samples that I'm working on the right side. I've told you there's tape going all the way back. I sigh. I just kind of readjust some lids and just kind of note down some progress of what I'm working on.
Okay, yeah, as we see you, kind of, we can tell even from, like, as far away as the camera is, sort of keeping everything in frame, that you're very annoyed. Like, maybe we see you, like...
The shoulders right up.
Yep, as soon as you open the fridge. So that happens. The phone is going off, though. Who answers it? What do y'all do?
Big ol' just gulp. Just try and down as much coffee as I can without burning myself. Mug on the table, and then I will answer the call.
Okay. We sort of see, we shift perspective as you're answering the call to a shot like from the perspective of the caller looking at you. So we get like a really good look at your character, like in that moment, sort of like looking down, like weird perspective, like almost too close, like when a little kid is like using like a phone or like on FaceTime. Yeah, exactly. Like uncomfortably close.
Yes.
we see you peering down onto the table. You go to click and answer the call, and then we cut back into a little bit of a wider perspective, and we can see that when you answer the call, it sort of like projects a hologram up from the table, where we can see the face and hear the voice of the caller. When you go to answer the call, however, you see, we don't see this from the audience perspective, but, Polly, you see this. The caller ID says Smileys.
I assume that doesn't ring any bells?
I would imagine, probably not. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Does anyone know Smileys? Wait, that's the wrong voice. Sorry. It's the wrong voice. Sorry.
We'll cut that out. We'll cut that out. Don't worry about it. We'll cut that out.
We'll fix it in post.
Does anyone know a Smileys?
Absolutely not.
No? Getting a call from a Smiley. Huh? Answer.
Okay, yeah, so we see projected up in a sort of hologram over the table. We see the face, or rather like the whole like head in like kind of like a quasi like fully 3D. It's sort of like the new Morpheus in the new Matrix when they're like on the Nebuchadnezzar, like it's sort of like made out of different particles. A little bit more defined than that though. We see the head of a middle-aged man. He has kind of like very close cropped hair. He has like very dark skin. He's looking kind of not like into the camera. He's sort of looking away, so it looks like he's sort of like looking out into space from where you're at. We sort of like maybe see like a bust of him, right? So we can sort of see his shoulders. He's a little bit heavier set. It looks like he's wearing like a very nice polo shirt with the buttons undone. He has like a very nice like gold chain on. Some chest hair is like poking through the collar of his shirt. He's looking around and it looks like he's like listening to someone sort of in whatever room he's in, and then he turns back around. He says, hello, is this thing on? Hello.
Yes, it's on.
He turns back around. He
Who
turns
is
back around and he says, Arthur, can you come? Oh, okay. I look. Okay, hello. Okay, there we go. I think my son just figured this out for us. Oh, hello there. Hello. And he's now looking over at you, Polygraph. He just flashes a big smile at you. What do you do?
She's waiting for him to say something.
Sorry, excuse me. Smiley Campbell, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Smiley Campbell.
And you would be who?
Wow, you called me. You should know who I am. If not, why are you calling me?
Oh, sorry. I'm sort of new to using this whole communication type deal. I'm more of a face-to-face kind of person. I'm an old friend of Mannon's.
Mannon.
Yes, Mannon from your crew creation. Mannon is the pilot of the
Right.
long weekend.
I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, the crew sheet right here. There we go. There's multiple sheets to look at. The crew sheet. Mannon. Oh, you're okay. Well, I guess if you know Mannon, then I guess that's how you know this number. What can we do for you?
I'm sorry, did I catch your name? I'm sorry, what was it?
Polly.
Oh, okay. You're Polygraph. I've heard of you. You're the what is it that you do?
That's a good question. What do I do? I kind of do a little bit of everything. But what is it that you need me for?
Well, listen here. I'm getting in contact because, well, like I said, I'm an old friend of Mannon's from back in the day. You should maybe ask him about that sometime. Tell him Smiley called. Listen.
Hearing the way this conversation's going, I probably step out of the room and go try to find David's character and be like,
Oh, I have a plan.
Okay.
Fang, are you doing anything while this sort of like very confused man is calling on the phone?
Oh, I am just watching this conversation unfold. I'm in that very dangerous area between waking up and not having enough caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the sweet spot where I might like snap if something
like the
bad.
epitome of that don't talk to me before I have
Oh,
my
yeah.
cup of coffee.
Yeah. So if this nonsense keeps going on much longer, I will interject.
If we were to get sort of like a Tarantino style interstitial flashback of what you were up to the night before, what would we see?
We would see some bare knuckle boxing, you know, a lot of alcohol and a lot of people on the floor because, you know, I'm
There's
good
still
at
blood all over you.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Yeah, we see that, and then we cut to sort of like a close-up shot of you sipping your coffee very sourly while this man, like, very loudly is sort of like, you know, trying to figure out technology. So back to Smiley. He says, okay, so you're polygraph. Okay, all right, good. Listen, you're this is the long weekend, right?
Yes. You have reached the long weekend.
Yes, listen, you know, under normal circumstances, I would have maybe, you know, seen if you would want to go out and grab a drink or something, or maybe get a nice dinner. But, you know, this'll work. I'm kind of tied up over here at my place. I'm calling out because I wanted to try and put some feelers out and see if y'all would be willing to work together with me, my kind.
Well, I think it all just depends on what kind of work you had in mind for us.
Well, you know, I hear from Manon. Manon was a great pilot back in the day. I'm sure he's just jolly as a bee getting to buzz around on the long weekend, that big old ship of yours, from what I've heard. But I'm needing somebody that can, you know, maybe swoop in from somewhere and grab something.
Okay. Now that things are on the table. Now, okay, yeah, we can definitely come to some sort of arrangement. We're gonna need some details. But if you would like, we can probably do a face-to-face if that would make you happy.
Well, probably not with me. I don't know if that will necessarily be something that we absolutely need to do, but why don't you just perk your ears open and see if what I have to say tickles your fancy?
Well, why don't you go ahead and say it then?
You checked the weather recently, Miss Polygraph?
Of course. Scrolling, like, rapidly scrolling
Looked
back
out
up to the weather part on my data pad.
Looked out those big windows on that ship of yours?
I probably can't peek from where I'm sitting, right?
I'd imagine probably not. I imagine Fang is probably closer to the windows.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the weather report on my data pad. That's where I'm going.
Fang, I mean, you're listening in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you take a peek outside?
I do.
You see me sitting on the wing of the plane, and my drone is shooting seagulls.
Yeah, we get no other introduction to David's character at the moment. We sort of see over the shoulder as you peer out the window. What is David? What does your character look like? What does she see?
She is her name is Ravel. Although I guess our viewers wouldn't necessarily know that.
That's okay.
But she's sort of dark hair, dark eyed. She's wearing a jacket and like that machine utility cowl, you know, the kind of comes up halfway up your to your chin.
Mm-hmm.
And she has like her hands are like her right hand is sort of like split into multiple like tool implements. And she has it like sort of jammed into some kind of like circuitry on her or not circuitry but like a console or a command tool on her left arm, and she is like clearly like commanding something, the drone from there, as it is like with like a long rifle just tracking a seagull. And...
Oh,
So we see that. We see that.
She's just kind of lounging back like in a recliner chair with sunglasses on.
Yeah. Is there an umbrella? Is there like a parasol?
She is very pale, and she's completely in the shade. But with this, well, maybe not very pale. She lives on an island, but yeah, she's definitely like in the. Actually, take it back. She's clearly been swimming this early in the morning and is wearing like a bathing suit, with like, but it still has her coat on for some reason, with
Okay.
sunglasses and a drink with an umbrella in it.
So Fang, you see Ravel, and then further out we can see that you see out on the horizon. It's getting very dark.
Like storm dark?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, okay.
We cut back to Polly, sort of looking through her data pad. You know, you find the weather. There are various warnings of a potential act of God sweeping in, forecasted sometime within the next 48 hours. It's not a large scale one, but you know, authorities with the Army and with the U.S. Navy are you know, letting civilians know to sort of, you know, be prepared, start battening down the hatches. This shouldn't be a very large scale, you know, event, but it'll be, you know, like a moderate, to us in our modern day world, like a pretty serious hurricane blowing through within the next 48 hours.
Okay. So with this information, Smiley will be able to see Polly like look back up. You're talking about the coming storm, right?
Right. Now with that incoming storm, you know, I figure lots of folks throughout the city are gonna be needing a fresh supply of jewels, keep their stuff up and running during the you know, during a little bit of rain. Might be a good time to go and hit up the WEH for some extra jewels, if you know what I mean.
WEH.
Yes. So the WEH is the Western Energy Housings. The Western Energy Housings are a sort of a large grid of generators. They generate jewels. Jewels are in this setting the currency of the world. They're also used to you know, power all cybernetics, power most technology. The Western Energy Housings, like I said, they're the main power grid for the city. They're sort of on the western edge of town. You know, to the south of them is the beginnings of sort of like a small, or rather, no, a pretty big mountain range that cuts through the center of the island. It's where, you know, all the generators and stuff are.
Beautiful picture of a frozen teddy right there.
I know, right?
Nope.
There we go.
There we go. My back.
I
You're
want you
back.
to know, David, I posted a video of exactly what I think you're doing out on the wing
Let me check that.
in the journal. You know, yeah, just later.
Check that out.
I don't know if you've seen this scene.
Should we get a little mark on the map of where that area is?
Yes. So the
Can you get it, Kyle?
WEH is this plot of land right here. It's where y'all marked as your turf.
Ground.
Or your
Yeah.
hunting ground, sorry, not your turf.
Yeah.
You don't got turf yet.
Yeah.
Might as well go hunting then.
So like I said,
Mhm.
generators are probably close to reaching maximum capacity. People are going to be needing lots of energy, so they're probably looking to offshore a lot of jewels back over into the city. Like I said, it might be good for you with that ship of yours, and maybe for me, taking a small cut since I'll give you the information, and maybe I'll also help your folks out get into the airspace over at the WEH.
Well, I guess my only question then would be, are you only coming to us because you're good friends with Manon, or is no
Well,
one else available, or...
I'm good friends with Manon, and at the moment, I don't have
Question
a daring group of
for the
comets
GM.
in
Sorry
my
to
repertoire.
interrupt
Yeah.
you real quick.
No, go ahead. Time out.
When he says, "Oh, I'm good friends with Manon,"
Mhm.
is he lying?
At the moment, you'd have to probably go and ask Manon.
Eyes, cybernetics.
Oh,
Like,
yes. Okay, yeah. So you can go ahead and use that ability. To kind of help introduce that,
Yes.
Polly, what does it look like? Like, what do we see as an audience when we see you use your cybernetic eyes to detect whether or not somebody's telling the truth?
There's not a visual cue
Mhm.
because the way that her her eyes are cybernetic. It's behind her pupils. She has that little amber glow like replicants do in the Blade Runner
Yeah.
movies. Just a cool aesthetic. But it's all in her head. It's like it's a cybernetic that attaches into her brain that basically gives her a polygraph in her head. So there's no indication that she's using it outside. But for
No
the
subtle
audience,
glow that you wouldn't like notice if only you were looking for it.
Yeah.
No.
No.
maybe it's just like you could just barely hear that little like
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of like the audience cue.
of like, oh, she's doing it. She's doing the thing.
Right. Polly, Smiley is not lying. He's good friends with Manon. However, in detecting whether or not he's lying about this, he's not lying about that, but he is lying about something.
Would you think that polygraph thing would work through video? Not like some like biometric scanning or like checking pulse as.
That's a good point.
It is all visual because it goes through my eyes. So all the
Yeah.
information that I am getting comes from the visual anyway. So it's not like I'm like scanning through. It's just all
Okay.
body.
That makes sense. Stylistically, this show is like very close to like an anime. Like,
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, so he's not lying about being friends with Manon. And you know, from his Manon is about, you know, middle-aged as well. This guy's middle-aged. You know, they have very similar personalities. Maybe when we see Manon like in camera, we'll get some of that. But no, he's not lying about that, but he is lying about something.
Okay.
But nothing that he's told you so far has been a lie.
Okay. But he's holding something back, but that's probably to be expected in like the very first meeting. Hey, you want to do a job? No real red flags for polygraph yet. She's gonna respond with, "Okay, well, it all sounds well and good, but before I can give you any sort of confirmation, I'll need to speak with my team, speak with the crew, and then we'll come to a consensus, let you know if we are down."
All right, no problem. That sounds perfect. Hey, listen, tell you what. You're going to need my help to get into that airspace anyway. So, whenever you
Is that a lie?
make your decision, that's not a lie.
Okay.
Whenever you do make your decision, why don't you go and meet a friend of mine over at Ken's. That's over by the old city. It's a diner. Why don't you meet a friend of mine there, pick up something from him, and then we'll get you in contact with my boy Arthur. He'll ring through at some point and send you the details and whatnot. He can upload those. And we'll go from there once you do make your decision. That's going to be Ken's at 1:30 this afternoon. Make the drop, get it to my boy, and then I'll get you in.
Ken's at 1:30, just making a note of it for myself. And I'm just going to be meeting an old friend of yours?
Not a friend, but he's friendly.
Friendly. And I'm sure I'll be able to spot a friendly face, or...
Just say Smiley sent you.
Okay. And then after that, take it to Arthur?
Yes, my boy Arthur. He'll ping you his deets.
He's the one that helped you with getting the call through.
Right. He's just back here.
Gotcha.
This man is a boomer and just used the word dates in a sentence.
Yeah, he did.
Listen. This is 2097. So he would have been around now, maybe.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, any slang from any slang
That's
from
old Gen
2022?
Zer.
Yeah, any slang from 2022 is some old head shit in this setting.
That is
boy, Arthur helped me set up this call. It was real poggers of them.
All right.
Oh, yeah, Polly's gonna, have a cordial farewell.
Perfect. He shuts the call off himself.
Fantastic. Coffee.
I would like to come in with like my umbrella and stuff kind of just held like all up in my arms with my drone like crawling inside with me, and then just think, what did I miss?
How many birds did you kill?
Where are you killing birds?
The readout says 30.
That's not bad.
No, the AI targeting is going really good. I thought about pinging you guys with ping pong balls, but birds seemed more fun.
Probably best for you that you didn't.
Yeah, it costs money for ping pong balls.
But not for bullets.
Speaking of, we have probably a new job.
Okay, should I get dressed?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. We have to be somewhere by 1:30. We have to go to the old city.
I'll be in my bunk.
Christian, where are you?
I've slowly meandered from the fridge, overhearing the talk of like, okay, we're gonna have a job. Like I kind of caught some of the end of the phone call, and I'm just probably now standing directly, like towering above the little conversation pit, just like looking down at y'all, and just standing there. I'm like, okay, so we got a job.
Well, I mean, do we want to? It's to hit the Western Energy housings.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
Oh, all right. Yes, I mean, Wednesday was boring enough as it was.
Fuck it.
Okay, I'll get ready. After some more coffee.
So we see everybody sort of like meet very quickly and have that conversation, and then disperse.
Very dejected, like, yeah, I guess we'll do the job.
Yeah.
To other parts of the ship. Everybody seems very tired. Everybody seems very nonchalant about this. I like it. It's Wednesday. It's a Wednesday morning. It's almost noon, and everybody's just woken up, and nobody's doing anything.
It's because you started like 11:30. I was just like, what?
So what generally speaking then is the plan here? Does everybody want to go to Ken's to meet this contact of Smiley's, or what? What's the idea here?
Oh, I'm definitely going, because if this is a trap, then we're gonna have to crack some skulls. So.
Okay.
I am not gonna go to leave myself open for some flashbacks going forward.
Okay.
When in doubt, you can always shoehorn the flashback, but...
Oh, yeah.
Listen, the flashback is there exclusively to be shoehorned.
Oh, I know. But I don't know, I just like the idea that she's not really a people person, and I don't think she would... I think from experience, you guys know she wouldn't really
The first thing that we see her doing on screen is killing animals for fun.
So yeah,
she's not
exactly.
Person. I think that conveys it. Okay, so Fang's going for sure. Polly's going for sure. Christian, what was your character's name? I don't think you ever told us.
Oh no, I didn't. Their name's Yotel.
It's what?
Yotel.
Like hotel, but with a Y?
Well, it's JOTL.
Oh.
Yotel.
Yeah.
Is that their sort of like street name, their code name?
No, their code name is Cornfield.
Cornfield.
Oh,
that's right.
Cornfield.
Cornfield's
It's like because they're like people that they're on. It's like, you gotta send them out to the cornfield, and it just sounds like a weird euphemism. But then I step out, and they're like, oh.
Aren't you actually from the cornfields though? You're from what remains of Middle America?
Basically, yeah. I'm like from agricultural district, like 72, like Omega.
47.
Yeah, 47 Omega.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, so Cornfield's going, Fang's going, and Polly is going as well. Okay. Let's.
Well, like we didn't get any info, like, of what the job really is yet. So it's not like anything that I could just be like, I'll let y'all handle the people thing. We'll prep.
Yeah, Smiley just said, you know, he tipped y'all off that now might be a good time to hit the WEH, score some extra jewels. You know, you're gonna need that to power the ship, you know, and it's money. He'll probably want to take a cut of it as well. However, to get into the WEH, everybody would know this. I mean, your characters would know this. The WEH being sort of like the main power grid for the city. It's kept on pretty strict lockdown by the military. So in order to sort of enter the airspace, you're going to need some sort of clearance. There's a big storm coming in as well, so that'll probably be good cover to sort of fly in, and then the clearance will sort of keep you, you know, off of whoever's radar. You know, Smiley can provide that. However, he needs y'all to go and pick something up for him. Meet with somebody and pick something up for him so that he'll you know, give you the clearance. You know,
I actually have some.
It's a little bit of, you know, it's a tit
ship.
for tat, but he sort of gets two things from you and you get one.
Yeah, well, that can always be negotiated after the fact.
Yeah.
When we have the thing he wants. But there's actually some things I think I can prep around the ship that I don't think Cornfield. I don't think a person with like a alias of Cornfield is the most like talkative people person. Either.
Yeah, that's fine. But you're a big guy, you know.
Oh yeah, there's things that I want to do around the ship that if it's like, okay, cool, we're hitting the place that canonically we are very comfortable or most comfortable hitting. I know the kind of jobs that we're being sent that we're probably going to get. There's some things I want to.
I imagine. I actually. I don't know if we want to litigate this a little bit, but I think in terms of the fiction, I imagine that y'all haven't. This might be the first time that y'all have hit the WEH. Sort of in the canon, right? Because you need the clearance that that Smiley
hit it
can get
before,
for you.
but this is the first time we've gone in with such a large payload of like our ship being involved.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's our first like real job.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
like, you know, like
Maybe a real scary job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've
there you
probably done some other smaller jobs. You know, the crew got put together. You probably hit some places up, but never something as big as this.
Like borrowed our mom's Humvee kind of thing and like did jobs with that, but
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think now that we know who's going to go to Ken's, let's sort of actually not sort of, let's immediately roll that into an engagement roll. And we'll sort of count this, we'll split this whole deal into 2 scores, I imagine, right? So one is sort of getting into
prep for the engagement role.
Yes. So we'll go ahead. Yeah, like I said, we'll roll this into 2 scores. One score is just going to Ken's and picking this thing up and giving it to the guy, and then the other one can be, you know, just going in and getting the stuff. So
if this is first things to score, what's our detail and our plan?
Right.
Like, are we going in like, is it like a social thing?
So let's talk about that. Let me go to the. I think I actually might have copied the part of the page in the book that this is in. I think we just lost everything. One sec. Hold the phone. I just closed everything out. Why?
Ron, now you've done it. Hang on. This is actually a really good opportunity for me to ask David.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in a closet?
I thought he was
Not
in a
in a closet.
bathroom. I thought he was in a
I'm
bathroom.
not in a bathroom. I'm in this is like a little this is my workspace. There's like in my room there's a little like this is a window that looks out into the rest of the like the foyer of the house, and that's a window that looks out onto the front of the house. So it's like a little princess tower room.
I vaguely remember seeing that window and wondering what it was.
Yeah, you can see it from, you know, where we play in the living room or the dining room.
Wait, so that window
there's-
overlooks the dining room?
This one it overlooks the foyer and like the staircase and the loft area, but you can see it kind of
So like when you
if
walk
look
in your
up.
front door, is the window up to the right or up to the left?
It's if you walk in the front door, it's like
Uh-huh.
right up above you. straight up.
Your house
Like-
is an absolute maze to me.
I don't think I've ever really been upstairs in your house except for like one time with Melissa.
I don't think you guys have either. And that was just in the game
Yeah.
room. You weren't over in this side. This is where I work. I have there's like a desk in here that's like installed into the wall and monitors and stuff.
Oh wow.
It's
Yeah.
like really tiny.
It is kind of tiny, but I don't need much space.
So
Most people
Like-
do.
So planning and engagement, that's going to be on page 141 of the book. When we go into a score as a part of the engagement role, we have to determine the detail, which is how it is that you guys are going to approach the score, and then we'll roll that in with some advantages and disadvantages that will modify the die pool that we roll. And what we'll be rolling is the engagement roll, which determines, under what position it is that you guys are going to be going into this situation at.
If this is a score, then I'm probably along for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought it was just
I thought
thought-
this was
I
just
thought
a
it'd be
meetup
prep
with the
first.
client.
No, we'll count
But-
this as whether or not your characters in the game know this, from a meta perspective, this is a score.
Okay.
okay.
I'd like to be present then.
Okay. So everybody's going to roll up. How
Yeah.
do we want to approach the situation, right? So everybody's just going to go and meet somebody at a diner, Ken's, in the old town.
Mhm. The old town.
Are we picking something up from this guy, Ken?
Yes.
Yes.
You're
Okay,
picking
so we're
up,
picking up from him and then doing what with it?
well, no,
We're
you're picking up something from somebody at Ken's.
Oh, at Ken's. Okay,
Yes.
we're picking.
Smiley didn't give a name for the guy. He just had to go to Ken's at 1:30 and meet with this
Said
guy.
Smiley seen him.
Say that we're friends with Smiley. And then whatever that is, we take it to Arthur.
Yes,
Which
it's
is-
around. It's around. Yeah. Yes,
His son?
Arthur is Smiley's son. We've got in the fiction. Y'all have some time, right? It's around 11:55. You've got to be there at 1:30. It's not gonna take very long to get from where you're at here off the north shore of the island, down over into the old city. So you've got a little bit of time if you want to try and gather some information, sort of scoop around the net, see what's going on, anything you might want to do. Those things like that, gathering information and stuff going into the engagement role, will modify the engagement role. So
I think we need to figure out the detail because right now, I mean, it seems like a social connection, but making it a score makes it seem like there's a little more to it. Plus, like, I mean, we have a social connection here as our detail with knowing, the client's son, but it seems like we could probably do some digging on who this guy is.
We could probably even do some more digging on the establishment, Ken itself.
Yeah.
Figure out what kind of people like to frequent there.
Yeah.
What the
So we're gonna go.
vibe-
Yeah. So we're gonna go with social as the detail for the score. What would everyone like to do? The detail for social is the social connection, right? Like David said. So if players don't know the detail, they can gather information in some way to discover about it. You can find, right now you guys don't even know who this potential target of that Ken has sent you to go and meet might be. So what would everybody like to do? You're not really limited in terms of what you want to do fictionally, right? Whatever you want to do fictionally, we can roll that into one of the actions. So, and like I said, any sort of successes that you might have here will positively impact the engagement roll as you roll up into this place.
Let me check how study works because I'm wondering maybe I can do that. Can help maybe with research. I think Cornfield might be good at maybe would hack work in here? Does somebody even have good study?
Have
Can somebody network?
I
I have a survey.
hold on. I've got.
I mean,
I can either control or network.
Well, like I said, fictionally you can do whatever you want, and then we can roll
Right,
these
right.
actions into whatever, we can roll the fiction into whatever action you're most skilled at.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that it tries to fit pretty well. Otherwise, we'll get limited success if I try to do something like
it'll change your position in your effect.
It's funny because a thought just came to me, which could be like a last ditch, like if we really need to. But hypothetically, Polly's capable of going up to the bartender and just pointing at every single person and asking him, "Is this person we're supposed to meet? This person supposed to meet?" And no matter what he says, she'll know if it's true or not.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to a diner.
Going to a date.
So it's pretty,
Trial by process of elimination is something that we could do as well, basically. If we are truly desperate to figure out who we're trying to find and we can't find them.
If anyone has good networking, someone could network and see if someone knows more about this Dennis guy.
What specifically, I guess really the easiest way to do this is for me to know what information do you guys want to know going into this?
I would probably say something like, "Do we know anything about this kid of what's his name? The blue guy, the guy with the Morpheus guy,
Arthur?
That's the guy.
Smiley is the guy that called us. Arthur is his son, and we're going to a place called Ken's to meet an unnamed person to pick something up, which we will deliver to Arthur.
This job stinks, but so we don't really know who we're picking it up from. We don't know what we're picking up. So what do we know about Arthur? Is he legit?
Yeah, I guess. What would Arthur be interested in? Is something we could.
So how would you want to find out?
Call Manon.
How would you want to find more information about Arthur? I mean, you could also go talk to Manon.
Yeah,
Manon.
Okay,
it's a good first step as any.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in terms of the fiction, we would immediately see you go and ask Manon. Since this dude, I mean, Manon is someone that lives on the ship. This guy Smiley said that he was a friend of Manon's. I mean, Paulie, you know that that's true. Do we want to go ahead and just cut to y'all finding Manon and asking him what's what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of give some direction because right now it's just it's too directionless for.
Yeah. And you've got a little bit of time left. Where do we find Manon? Manon's a member of the crew. Where do we find him? He's the pilot of the ship.
I almost want to say there's a section. There's a section of the back of the plane that's for a tail gun. There's no gun in it right now. But but that little room, that tail gunner section, he made it his own. It's his spot. It's for Manon.
It's a sort of his den. What? Okay, yeah. What is we maybe see? Yeah. What is? Okay, who do you want to go ahead and just frame the scene as we go ahead and cut to entering Manon's sort of living quarters and what he looks like?
All I know is that when we enter, it's this metal door because it's the hatch for the gunner section, which is kung kung kung. Manon, I'm coming in. We're coming in. Opening the door, and then
probably hunched, kind of facing away from the door. Sort of looking, when you said I imagine sort of I keep thinking of the Millennium Falcon, the little gunner pod thingies that
real small room
go into.
Real
there's
small.
All the windows kind of
Yes.
all around, right? It's a pod for a gunner, it's not a room. There's space in there. You all sort of have to if everybody's there, you all sort of have to stand at the door and look in because there's really only enough space for Manon in there. I imagine that he's brought in a ton of pillows and sort of placed them sort of haphazardly everywhere. He more or less sleeps in the gunner's chair. He sat in the gunner's chair very close to the window. I imagine that Manon is kind of a wiry.
The water looks nice from the window.
Yeah. He's got a prime piece of real estate right there, honestly. Manon, we sort of see him from behind. He's middle-aged. He's you know, from behind we see that he's got like balding hair. It's you know, very dark black, but more or less faded entirely to gray. He's very small, you know, which is why he fits inside of this like gunner's kind of like outpost. You know, this is more than enough room for him. He's very small. He's very wiry. He's wearing like an old bomber's jacket that he's patched up. It's got like, you know, it's like a very like cyberpunk looking bomber's jacket. It's got like some extra little doodads and stuff on it. He's sort of like hunched over and he swivels like the chair that he's on like around. He's holding like a tattered magazine that he's been reading, and we sort of like get a look at his face. He has like a very wiry looking, drawn out face. He looks much older. I mean, he's middle-aged, but he looks closer to like his mid to late 60s. Yes.
Is he wearing aviators?
Yes, he's wearing aviator glasses. He has kind of like a white mustache, and then the rest is sort of like very bad, like unkempt, kind of like scraggly 5 o'clock shadow. He turns back around and he says, "Oh, hey, good morning."
Good morning, Manon. We received a call from a man who says he's a good friend of yours by the name of Smiley. Ring a bell?
His eyes go wide and he says, "Who?"
Smiley Campbell.
He closes the magazine and sort of like turns around and like very gingerly places it on like a huge stack of like 100 other old magazines, and he says, "You're fucking shitting me. Smiley Campbell called? I thought he was dead."
He has a son.
He what?
His name is Arthur. He wants to hire us for a job.
Okay, wait. Slow down. So you're telling me Smiley Campbell called the long weekend and talked to you? Why?
Hang on. Why did you think he was dead?
Because we...
And why are you freaking out?
Listen, you kids, you know, you're young. You weren't there, you know, back in the day. Listen, you might not believe it, you know, an old man like me sitting here reading his magazines, but, you know, back in the day I was a pretty, you know, hotshot pilot flying around. I had a crew myself, just like you. Smiley Campbell was an old friend of mine. I thought he died in Nicaragua in 2057. That's actually not closer to the time. In 2067.
I don't know why.
Years ago.
I thought he died in Nicaragua.
In Nicaragua.
You know how it was back then, you know, running ops in Central America. You don't need to know the details. Smiley, we thought we lost him in a compound. But he called?
Yes. What compound for who?
You don't need to know the details. Some gorillas that we were, you know, trying to steal some shit from. I think it would be goes.
He talked like he was real good friends with you.
Well, you know, we were really good friends 30 years ago, and then I thought he died. But you're telling me he called for real. You're not shitting me.
Well,
If he hadn't,
someone claiming to be Smiley Campbell, saying they knew you, to asking us to ask you about him. Either Smiley Campbell's been alive for the past 30 years, or someone is doing again with the voice, doing the wrong voice.
We'll cut it out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Or someone is doing a very good impression of Smiley Campbell.
Okay. He sort of gets up out of his chair. Every bone in his body cracks as he's all of his joints just pop simultaneously as he gets
a few of the
out
metal
chair.
ones too.
He sort of like cracks his back. Okay. All right. I'm gonna need a cup of coffee. He sort of pushes back. He sort of pushes past the four of you and starts trudging, down the corridor towards the kitchen. I imagine as you're following him. He says, "Okay, so we called. What does he want?"
So he gave us some advice to basically go after the Western energy housings during the upcoming Act of God that's going to be coming through in about 48 hours. But he
Oh,
says
shit.
that if we're in for the job, then all we have to do is go to Ken's, meet someone, pick something up, and then take it to his son Arthur.
That's a pretty good fucking idea, but listen, okay, how did you talk to Smiley?
He called us. Right there. I have his number. You want to call him back?
No, I do not. I am not ready to talk to Smiley right now. Listen, maybe later. He's like fixing himself a cup of coffee at this point. He takes a drink, and he says, "Okay, so Smiley wants us to go and how's he gonna get us into the WEH? We can't fly in there without getting blasted out of the sky.
We're gonna fly through a storm.
We're gonna fly through the upcoming storm. Okay, I mean that, it's probably gonna be mild. That we can handle probably, but how are we gonna get into the WEH?
He mentioned something about getting us clearances.
He's gonna get us clearance?
We have to do this thing for him first. Pick up, drop off. Then we get the clearances. We get the okay. We do the thing.
Do you know anything about Ken's?
You're shaking your head, like as if you don't like this.
He wants to meet you at Ken's? Ken's an old place from back in the day, back from the 60s.
Oh, he wants us to pick up something from Ken's.
Wait. He mentioned that the person that we would be seeing is not a friend, but would be friendly. Do you know anyone else who might be who might still be around at Ken's?
No.
From the crew?
Someone that you and Smiley would both know?
Ken's is an old place from the 60s. We used to hang out there all the time, all the crews used to hang out down there. It was a pretty bustling place, but, I mean, I haven't been there in 30, 25 years, I don't know. Something like that. I can't imagine who he'd want you to meet there, but guys, listen, if this is true, and you really talk to Smiley, and he's alive, and he wants you to do something for him before he gives you clearance and we can go and do that job, we need to be really careful.
Okay, what are you implying?
Smiley, listen, I haven't talked to the guy in 30 years because I thought that he was dead and now he shows back alive. I'm surprised that he's alive, but now I've had a cup of coffee, I've sort of digested it. It makes sense for Smiley. Smiley was
What does that mean?
Smiley's he's a tricky guy, he's got a good poker face.
Not better than mine.
How did he greet you? How was he? Did he seem good?
Ecstatic.
Okay. Pretty lively for a dead man, but okay.
Lively. That's the word. Very good word.
Anything else? How did he come across to you? Lively, you said. Did he seem, forthwith with you?
As a matter of fact, yes. He was generally forthcoming with what he wanted to tell me. I could tell he was holding something back, but nothing he said was wrong.
But he was holding something back. Listen, Polly, you've got those fancy eyes of yours. You can tell when somebody's lying. I would be very careful with whatever Smiley's going to have you do. I'll stay here on the ship, I'll keep this place clean, but I want you all to come back, I want jewels in my pocket as much as the next guy. But if he's having you meet with someone and he hasn't told you who it is and he's just sort of brushing it off like it's whoever, I would be real careful.
Look, we'll just go in ready for a fight and we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just tested the AI targeting system on the drone. She's gonna fuck shit up.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, you have that fancy little drone of yours, patrol the perimeter or whatever, and I'll stay here.
Plus, we have cornfield.
Yeah. Plus, you've got
We
cornfield.
just looked at cornfield.
Our saving grace.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. If you head to Ken's and you make it back in one piece from whatever this is, if Ken's still there, tell him I say hi.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Manon gives you a very stern look, and then sort of like looks away. He's kind of scared of you.
I don't know what you were aiming for, but in my head, he looks like Mouse from The Matrix.
If Mouse made it.
Older, like if he made it.
I imagine,
I like it.
I imagine that's very close. An older Mouse mixed with like Dustin Hoffman. Okay. Do we want anything more out of Manon? I mean, you guys can pump him for whatever information you want, unless we're sort of done with this scene. I don't know if you guys got the information that you wanted. I mean, Manon thought that this guy was dead, so
He doesn't have that much info. Like
No.
that's
I think we're ready enough to move in. We know not to trust the situation, and nothing
I already
is as
wasn't
it
trusting it.
appears.
Yeah. I do want to quickly add, our ship is okay to fly through an act of God, though, right?
yeah. Well, it's a very minor act. Like, you know, the forecasts are saying that it's not going to be too bad. So the ship will more than unless Manon really fucks up flying or like something goes horribly wrong, you know, you'll be fine.
Sweet. Okay.
I think it's any time you fly. It'll be fine unless something really bad goes happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Technically, you can say that in any situation.
Listen,
Yeah,
Manon has a checklist. He has procedures.
Plus, I'm maintaining the ship.
Yeah, plus you're maintaining the ship, and you trust your own work. Everybody trusts Ravel. It's fine.
Totally.
Okay, cool. So
Brought the ship.
the plan is to go in, you know, this is a social situation. You know, the detail is still somewhat ambiguous after y'all gathered some information, but I don't think it's, you know, super pertinent that we figure all that out before we go ahead and just sort of cut to the action. Everybody go ahead and make sure that you set your load for the score. That'll dictate, you know, what you're able to bring in with you. You know, you don't have to determine the exact particulars of what you're going to bring, like, you know, this exact knife or this exact gun or whatever. Just set a load, and if something becomes relevant, just take it that you have it and take enough things up to your load, and that'll do it.
A light
normal
load makes you look unobtrusive. A normal load makes you look like you're loaded for bear, and a heavy would really attract attention, like you're like armed for war.
Yeah.
So like, it
This
will
is
like
a-
affect if you're trying to be sneaky and blend in with social situation, but you have picked heavy load. You're like,
Yeah.
how
What's
could this
everybody's
mercenary-
load going into this? So where's my
Going light.
Okay.
Light.
going normal?
I think I'm gonna go normal too.
How are you guys disguising the fact that you're walking into a diner in the middle of a very touristy part of the city with normal load?
At
How are
1:30.
How are
Probably
you?
be staying
I was
outside.
thinking night.
You guys are
Yeah,
gonna
sir.
you guys are gonna
I'm
stay
gonna
outside.
not go inside.
Yeah, I think we'll stay outside. I think we'll find like a rooftop to post up on.
Okay.
I'm playing with the drone, you know, surfing.
So
I think we have comm links to talk to, so we're like overhearing
Yeah.
the conversation.
Yeah,
I have a
for
quick
sure.
question.
Yeah.
Quick question. So I have a load, and then there are specific things that could be in that load,
Uh-huh.
or that I have access to as part of that load. But I also have items.
Yes.
So as part of my load.
Yes. So your load just dictates how many items you'll have access to during the score.
You have unique items unique to your playbook. Like I have an EMP grenade, for example, and you don't have that, but it'll still count.
Okay. Cool. Just needed to. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Sweet.
It's just so you don't have to commit to be like, I'm gonna bring my EMP grenade, but then you never come against the instance where you use it. And you're like, I should have brought something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Ravel and Cornfield are going normal load. You guys are gonna stay outside. You know, you're less the faces of the operation, and we'll let Fang and Polly head inside with light load. Okay, cool. So now that you guys have chosen a plan, we've sort of more or less kind of sketched in what the detail is. Although I don't think it's super pertinent that you know.
I should mention if something has some items count as 2 items for load, and they have 2 connected boxes. I just bring that up because I have like fine demolition tools that would count for 2 boxes for me.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, like
it's
a large
not like
weapon.
you can-
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So then we will go ahead and begin our engagement roll. So the engagement roll always begins at 1d just for sheer luck. The dice pool is then modified with any major advantages or disadvantages that apply to the situation. So let's ask and answer some questions. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? I don't necessarily think it's particularly bold or daring, so you don't get a +1d. But it's really not overly complex or contingent on many factors, so you don't take -1d either. You know, this is a simple, just, you know, it's a meet and grab, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I don't necessarily think so.
No.
Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have a particular defense or special preparations? No, not really. Oh, go ahead.
Eyes.
That's a good point, actually. Your eyes would probably protect against any sort of, like, underhanded things that might happen. I'll take your eyes as a +1d in terms of this being a social situation. I'll take that as a +1d. So we're at 2d for the engagement roll. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight on this operation? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that little extra bit from Manon, letting you know that Smiley is kind of a shady character.
And some context around Ken's.
Yeah,
well.
and it gives you a little bit of extra context. So we'll count that as another +1d. So that's 3d. Are enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Okay, but you're gonna lose that d. So we're back at 2.
Oh no.
Are there any other elements that you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you a +1d, maybe a higher tier target. No, I think 2d is about fair total. All right, who would like to roll the engagement roll? It's going to be 2d6. So let's go over. Okay, so we haven't covered how the the general system for this game works. Forged in the Dark games, you would use a die pool system. Almost every situation where you're rolling an action or rolling an engagement roll or your downtime activities all use a die pool system. The number of dice in the pool is modified, by the fiction, either by the fiction or by your action ratings. So in this situation for the engagement roll, it's modified by the fiction. So we've got 2d in the die pool. The way that it works is you want to get at least one. Well, you don't really need to. You want to get a 6 right within your die pool. If you get a 6, that's a critical success. Everything goes your way. If the highest number that you get out of all of the rolls is a 4 to a 5, it's a partial success. And if it's a 1 through a 3 for the highest roll, then you will suffer some consequences. So,
I think Jose should make the roll.
Wow.
You are the face, and our newest player. This is your trial by fire.
All right, Jose. So you just need to roll 2d6 in roll 20, and then we'll see what you get.
Oh, I did a bed. Hold on, sure. Oh yeah, okay. Let's do roll 2d6. 2d6.
Nice. Oh wait. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah. Wait, that sucks. I thought
Yeah.
that was good. That's not good.
That's not good. We all saw the 6
it's
and we
not-
were
so
like,
it's
yo!
not combined.
And then we
It's the
saw what
highest.
added up to 6. All right.
That's rough.
So
I
the
like
highest
it.
thing that you got was a 3.
I am the wrong vibe for this bar.
So the highest that you got was a 3. That's a bad result. We're gonna start in a desperate position when the action starts. So let's cover another aspect of how the system works: position and effect. Those are really the two key components of how we adjudicate any situation. Position is, you can think of position sort of as the difficulty rating of whatever situation you're going to be in. Positions, there are 3 positions. In levels of desirability to least desirable, it's controlled, risky, and desperate. Most situations by default are risky positions. And that sort of ties into the result when we, go and roll dice for any, for any actions. And then effect.
It'll determine the consequences of what happens.
Exactly. And then as does the effect. So effect is how much your actions accomplish. Depending on, how well you roll, that'll determine effect. Well, how well you roll, what your position is, and sort of what the general fiction is will determine the effect of your action ratings, right?
Little math
rolling the
equation.
right skill. Like,
Right, exactly.
skill
Yeah,
fits.
rolling an appropriate skill for what the fiction has sort of
I
set
think
up.
I think you look at position as it's always like what's the consequence, like what's the cost of doing this action. If you do it controlled, then like your cost is low. Desperate, obviously, our cost is high because like whatever we want to do from there could be, but our effect could be really good or low. Just depends on what happens after that.
Okay.
But
yep, that makes perfect sense. Okay. I just want to let
Starting
everybody
off
know that
with
I've just written the first progress clock of this game, and it is not off to a good start.
yay.